Hey, what's poppin', guys? Sizzle here, and today we're taking a look at the Stockholm Challengers capsule. So, first things first, we have the Spirit paper, and it's a nice black and white design of like a dragon or snake with its like a serpent, not snake, with its tongue sticking out. Looks somewhat cool. The only place this won't really work is the front of the of any weapon, because like I always say, if you have some kind of like animal or creature and you want on the front of your weapon, I believe it should be looking to the left. I think it looks a lot more aggressive, looks a lot more nice that way. But for any of the other three sticker slots, I think this will work really solid. It has no real background, and it has a very thin border that you wouldn't really see in game. And yeah, the base logo is just kind of nice. So for this one, I think it's an easy B tier for me. Pretty solid sticker. Yeah, that's all there really is to it. Next up, we have the Australis paper, which has a really cool star that you can visibly see in the middle, and the kind of bold red design of the main Australis logo almost works like a really a border that draws your attention to the star. I think this can look somewhat okay in a couple of places, but I think it being kind of an unfinished logo without that little fifth prong down here will make it look a bit worse. I kind of wish it had that fifth little part because then it'd be like a star within a star, which would be really cool. But even this somehow looks somewhat okay to me. So for that reason, I'm actually gonna put it in the C tier. I do think there's quite a good amount of applications for this sticker, mainly because of the nice color scheme and the star that's very noticeable in the middle. Then we have the Pain Gaming uh, sticker, paper, blanked out for a sec. But yeah, just a nice white P. It'll look good for a lot of letter crafts, and the base logo isn't really horrible, so you can't really go wrong applying this in most places, especially toward the end, since it kind of looks like it's fleeing away to the right, which can look kind of cool probably in some designs. But mainly it's going to be used in letter crafts, so I can't put it too high, but I can't say it's particularly bad. It has no real background or anything. It's pretty much just a white P. And for that, I'll put it at the top of C tier. Next up, we have the Ents paper, which looks dope as fuck. It's one of those stickers that works as a main sticker. It's really big, and it'll work in some stuff like the M4, A4, or like the P90s, like big sticker slots where the sticker's a bit bigger and your eyes are kind of drawn to it. It's a really cool design. It looks kind of like Cthulhu. I think this will work really well, especially with stuff from the Gods and Monsters collection for that exact reason. But it's a really cool looking design, and the paper does it justice. I think it's a really, really well made thing. It'll work really well in the main slot, but that's about all it'll work well in. I don't think it'll work well in any non main slot. But just working well in the main slot's enough to put it at the bottom of B tier for me. Then next up, we have the big paper, which I think is only going to be used with Dick Stacy stickers to make big dick crafts. I think otherwise, it's just a big, massive black and white blob with a somewhat mediocre design in the middle. It's just way too big for its own good. It doesn't look good as a main slot sticker, and it's too big to work anywhere else, in my opinion. So for me, this is an easy F tier. Probably one of the worst stickers we're going to be seeing. And yeah. Next up, we have the Movistar Writers paper, which is a contender for the main slot, but nowhere near as cool as Ents. But it will work nice on some blue skins, or maybe some red skins too, just to contrast it, like the Hot Rod, if you put this in a main slot or whatever. But yeah, it looks somewhat okay in the main slot, nowhere near as cool as Ents, but still a pretty solid option. So for that reason, I'm gonna put it at the bottom of C tier. Next up, we have the Heroic paper, and it just looks cool as fuck. It's really, really cool, kind of like knight helmet, like warrior helmet, like Spartan helmet. I think that's the best description I've had so far. Spartan helmet with some kind of like wings going off the side, kind of like God's warrior, if you will. And then the red in the background actually helps you kind of see the main logo because I think otherwise it'd be very hard to spot the main logo. And even the red that's in like the face area kind of makes you think of the warrior a bit more. This is just a really, really cool design. I think it's probably my favorite paper in the probably the entire event. Other than maybe Navi, because that one's kind of close. And this thing is also linear, pretty much. Like most of the skins, pretty linear, meaning you can easily apply 4 of these to most weapon skins, and it'll probably look great. Next up, we have the mouse paper, and I mean, there's like a mouse in the inside, and there's like a mouse outline, but the red outline they use for this one, unlike Australis, just feels too big. It feels too thick. It doesn't. obviously it's not going to be horrible. I can't say it's a horrible sticker, but I can't say I particularly want to put this anywhere. I think there's just better options out there. And I never really want to apply this unless I really wanted to save money and I really wanted that mouse logo for some reason. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about that one. So they got about mouse. And I'm not going to be going over the PGL stickers in this one. If you want to see my opinions on the PGL stickers, go to the Legends capsule video where I cover them more in depth. I'm not going to cover them in every capsule I do. Anyway, next up we have the Team Spirit Holo, our first holo, which uses the same holo as the Furia sticker, which just looks really cool, from like a gold to black to like an orangish red. It just looks great, especially in like Panthers and Dragons and stuff. It just looks amazing. You can't go wrong with this. And the Dragon Lore details in this one are also really, really good. This is definitely one of the better stickers from the entire event. It's an easy S tier from me. Then we have the Australis Holo, which has the Gambit Holo effect, which is nice because the Gambit Holo effect is amazing, but the Gambit logo is horrible. But the sticker going from green to red to blue, and then like a bit of gray sometimes, but mainly red, green, blue, looks absolutely great. I could see it work on quite a lot of skins. And the main star being in like a holo effect makes it look actually a lot nicer. I really like this holo effect, and the Australis logo is somewhat okay. So just for that, I think that's enough to put it in the A tier for me. I do just really love this holo effect. A lot of the holo effects they had are really, really cool. Next up, we have the Pain Holo, which has the same holo effect, but on the letter P, which I think will, there's a little bit less surface to it. The Australis logo is kind of big, so you get a lot of that holo effect. You get less of it here, but with a more clean general design. But yet again, it's mainly just the letter P, so I can't really put this above Australis by much, if even at all. Actually, I'm going to put this right below Australis. I think it looks really good, though. I really like the look of this kind of red holo. Kind of sucks that it's not on one of the really good designs like Spirit or Furia. Anyway, then we have the Ents Holo, which just deletes the entirety of the Ent sticker so that it just looks different. It has the kind of Navi NIP look to it though, which goes from like yellow to light blue, which it's a somewhat cool holo effect, but the main sticker is just horrible. Looking at this in game, you'd have to look at this for like 15 seconds to figure out what the heck is going on here. It just makes no sense why the entire sticker pretty much got removed. It does not look very good. The only thing this has going for it is a somewhat cool looking holo effect, but even then, that's not all that great. To the point where I'm actually going to put this holo below the Pain Paper. I think that's a good spot for it. I still think it looks better than the Movistar Riders and base Australis Paper, just because the holo is really cool. But the logo is so horrible that I can't justify putting it above anything even semi-competent. Then we have the Big Holo, which is a big, just massive sticker. It's just a massive circle with what you'd expect from a holo effect, right? The kind of blue, purple, kind of the holo colors. I don't even have to go over what colors I'm talking about, but if you guys ever think about a holo sticker, that effect that you think of right away, that's what this has, and it's probably the biggest version of that I've ever seen. Applying 4 of this holo is just going to look cool just because you'll see a shit ton of the holo effect as the sticker is so massive. And just for that, I think it's actually one of the better stickers we'll have, even though the base design is pretty much horrible. But I can't say it's better than the Heroic Paper. That thing is just absolutely beautiful. Anyway, then we have the Movistar Riders Holo, which gets rid of the main part of their design and also a bunch of random other elements that just makes this look really weird. It still has a somewhat cool holo effect. It has the liquid one where it goes from light blue to like a pinkish red and back and forth, which will look kind of cool on some skins, so this will work as a main sticker on those skins. But otherwise, I don't think this holo effect is enough to justify what they did to the logo. It's definitely better than Ents, and I think the holo effect is enough to put it above the Pain Paper, but that's about all I can give it credit for. And then we have the Heroic Holo, which basically took the Heroic Paper and somehow made it feel just a lot more epic. It goes from gray to white, like gray, white, red. That's kind of the holo effect you got going on. And the Dragon Lore stuff is applied in all the right places to just make this feel like a kind of like the blood red like warrior. Just a really aggressive, really cool looking warrior. I would love to just apply like a million of these things to pretty much all my weapons if I could. It is definitely the best thing in the entire challenges capsule. I don't have to see the rest to just know this is going to be the best sticker I'm going to see all day. It is absolutely beautiful. One of my favorite stickers. Just in CS as a whole. Then we have the final holo, the mouse one, which has that same effect, but on just a mediocre design. Can't say it's particularly bad though. The logo isn't horrible, and the white to red to gray looks kind of nice on pretty much anything that isn't horrible. So I can't put this too low, but I also can't justify putting it anywhere up in the A tier with anything else. So I'm gonna actually put it at the top of B tier, just having a nice holo effect on a somewhat moderately not horrible design. Anyway, our first foil is the Team Spirit foil, which is just a more defined version of something that I don't think needed to be more defined. I think actually the paper looks better than the foil. I don't like how the shine works on this. I think the paper gives off more of that fearsome dragon serpent thing that the paper going on. I think the foil just does it worse. I don't see why you'd ever want the foil. From a pure design standpoint, I think it's just around the same as the paper, just a little bit lower. Anyway, next up we have the Australis foil, which is a more defined border, I guess. I think the paper yet again just looks better. I think this kind of HD version of a border of a star just doesn't look good. Maybe if it had the full logo, it would look better, but without the full logo, this just looks worse than the paper, in my opinion. Are pretty much virtually the same, but yeah, that's all I can really say about the Australis foil. Next up, we have the Pain foil, which is actually nice. I think the white foils all from this event just look really nice. They add like a kind of metallic, white metallic look to everything, and they just look somewhat nicer. But it doesn't look that much nicer than the base paper. Not to the point that I put above the holo. So yeah, just a little bit above the paper. It's pretty much how most of the foils go. Then we have the Ents foil, which is actually the exception to that rule, funnily enough. It's a super golden version of the already cool looking Ents sticker, and it even has almost like a dark bluish background. It just actually looks really, really good. It looks a lot better than the paper, which already looked kind of dope as a main sticker. And it looks good enough to the point that I'd actually put it above the Spirit papers, but not above the Holo for mouse, even as that logo is mediocre. The holo effects from this event are just so cool that you can't really justify putting a lot over them. Then we have the big foil, which it just looks horrible. I'm gonna be honest. This is just a significantly worse looking version of already the worst sticker in this entire capsule. So yeah, easy F tier. Don't have to talk about it. Then our next one is the Movistar Riders foil, which actually looks surprisingly good. I don't even know what it is about it, but it looks almost like an electric blue to me, and I think that could work really well as a main sticker on quite a lot of things, to the point where it actually is borderline at the same level as the holo for me. Even though the holo effect is really cool, this one has almost like a cooler design to it, and I think it'll work better with most stickers, or skins, sorry. I don't know if I can really put it over the holo. I think those are honestly the holo and the foil are at the same level because the holo takes away some of the design for a cool holo effect, and then the foil kind of emphasizes that design in a really cool way with the colors. So I don't know which one to put above the other. I'm gonna put them at the same level for now. Then we have the heroic foil, which just looks clean. It has that kind of white metallic night feel, just better than the paper, which was already insane. So easy A tier for me. Still not better than the holos. It's really hard to beat the holos. The good ones at least. Anyway, we have the mouse foil, which yeah. I'm like staring at this thing and like unless my face is like surgically attached to my screen, it's impossible to even spot the foil effect just because this sticker was so fucking the borders on the sticker are so massive. It's impossible to spot. So yeah, this is the same. This literally looks identical to me to the paper. I literally cannot tell the difference between these two, especially in game. It would look even worse on the skin. Just don't get the foil, get the paper if you're getting that. Then we have our first gold, the Team Spirit one, which doesn't actually look as good as I thought it would. It's still a gold sticker, which is somewhat cool, and it's still gold is still a little bit nicer than pretty much any color scheme, unless you're like Navi. In which case, Navi's color scheme was so good that the gold was actually worse. But yeah, I don't know what it is, but the gold doesn't look as impressive as I thought it would. think it still looks a bit better than the papers, but I can't actually put it above that Ents foil. That thing looks more better as a gold than probably the Ents gold bill, because they'll probably move the board to that one again. Then we have the Australis Gold, which actually looks really clean. Uh, like I said with the Australis design, what you mainly see is the star in the middle, and the border kind of gets applied to that almost. And a gold border makes this a gold star, and gold stars just feel right. Gold stars work so well on pretty much everything. Gold stars are just universally known to be really good, and I think this is a good example of that. I think this will look really good in most places on most weapons, to the point that I'll actually put this one at the bottom of A tier above the Mouse Sports Holo, but not above pretty much any other holo or the heroic design, because heroic's design is just amazing. Then we have the Pain Gold, which is a golden P. It's better than the paper, I guess, but it's still just the letter P. I can't put it much higher. I guess I can put it above Movistar Rider stuff because it's at least gold and it looks kind of nice, but I can't really justify putting it up here with everything that has an actual competent design. So it's staying in the C tier, just right at the top. And then we have the Ents Gold, and well, what did you know? They removed the entire design, but I will give it this one. The color gold looks somewhat better on it. Now to explain what I mean, gold is kind of the color of Buddhas, like Buddhist statues and stuff. A lot of them, at least to my knowledge, a lot of them are like gold, covered in gold and stuff, painted gold, whatever. And when you don't look at this too closely, it almost somewhat resembles like a Buddha statue, right? If you just look at like the eyes and like the outline you're given here, and ignore the outer circle, it almost just looks like a Buddha statue. So it somewhat works, but when you look at it even remotely close, it just looks. You wouldn't know. You'll never know what this is if you look at it too close. But from a first glance, someone might mistake this for a Buddha statue. So that's what I'll give it credit for. Still doesn't make it a good gold. I think the holo honestly is better because at least there's a cool holo effect, and this one's just gold. So yeah, put it right below the holo at the bottom of C tier, very close to D tier in my opinion. Does not look very good. Then we have the big gold, which is a big gold sticker. It'll work well on places where you want a lot of gold on your weapon, like the gold arabesque or whatever. I think it might look really well in there. Um, that's about all I can say for it. It's not going to look as impressive as the holo will in most places, and it's not really going to look that phenomenal as a whole, but it's not going to look bad. It's probably one of the better looking gold stickers we have, to the point that I'll put it above the Team Spirit papers, but I do like the Ents foil a lot more. I think it looks a lot better in my opinion. So yeah, somewhat in the middle of B tier, I think is where this one belongs. Probably the second best gold we've seen behind the Gold Star of Australis. Australis, sorry. Then we have Movistar Riders. Yet again, a lot of weird parts of the logo removed. I mean, it still is gold, so I guess it's a little bit better than the paper, but it's definitely nowhere near as good as the foil or holo were. There's not a lot to justify here, but I can't say it's as bad as the Ents gold, so I'm going to put it right there in between the Ents holo and gold, which are kind of bad. Yeah. Then we have the heroic gold, which is just like a golden warrior. I do actually like the foil a bit more than this one personally because I think it looks nicer, like that kind of uh, you know, like white white metallic warrior looks just has a really cool look to me. But a golden warrior is not bad either. I'd say it's better than the paper, worse than the foil. I think that's a good placement for it. It's a really, really solid sticker though. Don't get me wrong. Then we have our final sticker, the Mouse Gold, which has that shitty mouse logo, but with a good amount of gold on it, I guess. That's all I can give it credit for, because the logo doesn't really do a lot for it. And I guess I'll put it at the bottom of C tier. It's better than the papers, but that's about all I can give it credit for, personally. But yeah, that's it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you disagree with anything I said, feel free to comment below and we can talk about it or whatever. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.